Cold starting this bike never gets old. Hi, I'm Chad, and welcome to Virtual Reality. That's right, the entirety of this vlog was created within a virtual computer simulation, simulating the real world as we know it, complete with virtual reality cars, virtual reality sun setting, and basically everything else. I like to conduct some of my vlogs in virtual reality because it is a place where we can make our own rules, such as whether or not getting the front wheel of your motorcycle off the ground is a questionable activity. In virtual reality, it is not. So in today's video, I will be disabling wheelie control on my Tuono V4. Now this isn't something I've done often, and I'm really not too sure about how it's going to go, but I will set an expectation with you. I am by no means a wheelie expert. The odds of me pulling a dank nooner at all are pretty low. So just want to let you guys know, I'm not going to be doing any crazy impressive wheelies in this video. I'm pretty sure. Now that said, I have been practicing on my Yamaha WR250X Supermoto quite a bit as of late, and I've gotten to the point where I'm pretty comfortable popping the front wheel off the ground in first gear with the clutch and ride it up to the rev limiter. Now sometimes I can get a little bit closer to the balance point and hold it up for a second or two longer than others, but I've gotten to the point with that bike where I either need to just be comfortable with finding a balance point and holding the bike at a constant speed, which going as slow as that thing does sounds kind of difficult, or I need to change the gearing on it or something to make it so that either first gear is taller and I can ride out a wheelie for longer, or second gear is shorter to achieve the same thing. But I also thought, hey, my Tuono has a lot of power, is a motorcycle, and has very tall gearing, especially compared to the WR250X. Why don't I see what it's like to pop some wheelies on this thing, especially since I've been getting my practice in a bit. Now again, I'm just going to feel this out. I know what it feels like to pop a wheelie on my Supermoto, but that bike is very soft and squishy and underpowered compared to this. Like, a lot underpowered. That bike makes about a sixth of the horsepower that this bike does. Given it only weighs about 65% as much as the Tuono does, but still, power to weight ratio on this bike is nuts. Body position, trail brake, oh yeah, open the throttle, and up we go. So yeah, just want to set your expectations. If you're looking for someone on a Tuono V4 to do really sick, gnarly, long wheelies, this isn't that video, probably. But again, the Supermoto is a much different bike to do wheelies on. It's a lot softer in the suspension, it's a lot lighter, it's a lot less powerful, it's a lot less intimidating, to be totally honest. This bike, I know from experience and just having little wheelies with wheelie control intervening, the front end comes up much faster, much more aggressively, and there isn't nearly as much softness in the rear suspension to kind of take that up, whereas the WR is a bit more comfortable. So in case you're not familiar with this machine, it is a 2017 Aprilia Tuono V4 1100 factory, and it has a plethora of electronic rider aids, one of which is Wheelie Control, which I will demonstrate here. We got the lights flashing too, signifying that APRC is intervening. So wheelie control on this bike is really more like anti-wheelie. As soon as the front wheel starts to lose contact with the road surface, it generally intervenes pretty immediately. Maybe it'll give you a second or so of hang time, but that's really it. So we're going to disable that today, and I'm going to show you how. So wheelie control has 3 settings, and they are adjustable on the main menu using the joystick right here with your thumb. So I'm going to go down and select AWC, and I can move it up to go up in intervention. 3 is the most invasive, 2 is medium, 1 is the least invasive. And then when you have 1 selected and you hold it down for a few seconds, it'll just cancel it out. Alternatively, go down into the main menu, go to APRC configuration, and set the left-hand switch to control wheelie control. That is this switch right here. So now we have wheelie control on the fly, which should be pretty handy for this video. Now that it's off, let's see if I'm brave enough to try to get the front wheel off the ground for more than a second or two. Guess let's go first gear first. Let's try a clutch up in second. Yeah, that was pretty weak sauce. Cover the rear brake. I thought it'd be a little peppier. I guess I'm just not twisting the throttle enough. You can probably see on the throttle position sensor on the dash. Let's give it one more go in second gear. Cover the rear. Why don't we try a second gear power wheelie once there's no more oncoming traffic? That was a fun little one. The front wheel is probably only like 6 inches off the ground, but it wheelied. So as it turns out, and this probably won't be a surprise, but doing low speed clutch up wheelies on a 30 horsepower supermoto is way less intimidating than doing normal road speed wheelies on a 175 horsepower hyper naked. Definitely still have some learning to do. So one of the other things that I have suspected for a while is that wheelie control softens the power at the top end of it too in second and third gear. So I'd say that that is absolutely true. There have certainly been a few times with wheelie control, even on setting 1, the least invasive setting, that it feels that the bike just runs out of a little bit of steam up top in second and sometimes third gear. Once you hit fourth, it goes a little bit faster. And I think that may just be because wheelie control is intervening at that point in time. Second gear clutch up again. Let's try it out. Came off the ground. I just looked like such a squid right there. Let's try one more real quick. I had to continue opening the throttle after I get the front wheel off the ground. That's an action I've gotten pretty comfortable with on my WR250X. Just not giving it all of the gas right when you're going to pop the clutch, but opening the throttle as the front wheel's coming up off the ground. Makes for a much smoother and more controlled wheelie. Something else too that's making this much more challenging than my WR is the riding position. You sit much more aggressively on this bike. I mean, it is a hyper naked, so that makes sense, but on the WR, for example, you sit very upright, back perfectly upright, like this. On this bike, you are pitched forward a bit still. Then, of course, your legs are tucked up a lot higher and a lot further back. So just the way that you control the bike is much different. Make this corner into virtual reality, and then that was a fun little power wheelie, and I didn't even go out of my lane. Yeah, it definitely feels like you have just a little bit more power and torque and first and second gear as you get higher up into the rev with wheelie control off, which does make sense because the whole purpose of the system is to intermittently reduce power to keep the front wheel in contact with the ground. So by turning it off, of course it's going to make more power. But ooh, it feels good. Brought that one back down with the rear brake. That could have been a good one though. If only I was a bit more confident in my abilities as a wheelie master. But alas, I am a wheelie Padawan. It's just so funny how much different it is to try doing wheelies on this bike than my WR. Again, it makes perfect sense, but at the same time I was hoping that that little bit of skill that I developed would transfer over a little more easily to this machine. It just means I need more practice. Clutch up. That was a bit better. Had to bring that one back down with the rear brake. That was fun though. When you use the blipper with the clutch, it makes big pops. Except for that time. And let's wrap it up with a nice virtual sunset for you guys. So with that, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you gave me a gentle little click of the like button. Consider subscribing for more Tuono V4 goodness. Turn those notifications on so you find out every time I post a new video. And drop a comment below. How confident are you with your wheelies? Are you a wheelie scrub like myself? Let's talk about it and what we're doing to improve. But anyways, thanks again for watching, and I will hope to catch you in the next one. Until then, later.